Winter is upon us. January 2024 and a new project in the workshop. Enjoy. But before we get into it, subscribe. If you think you're subscribed, check. YouTube is doing weird things. Channel's not growing. I'm not getting pushed anywhere near as much newer and smaller channels are. Checking through all my algorithms and comparing. I don't know what's going on. Subscribe, like, comment. Okay, so on to this particular project. This is one of my customers' cars, obviously. It's one of my longer standing customers, the gent who's got the TR7 and the TR8s. This is his Range Rover. Bought, oddly enough, from my old boss from a long time ago. It is a police protection car, ex-police protection car. It's got holes in the bumpers for the blues and twos, fitted with Brooklands bumpers. It's a Vogue SE, which is quite unusual for a soft dash car that was in service. And I believe, from what my customers told me, it was in service from 94 to 96, and it was stationed at the Royal Mews in London. So it's known as the Diana car. Now, there is no evidence that we can find that it was ever seen with Princess of Wales in it. However, that's the reg number. You have to let me know. The main reason for it being in, told you he was a customer, the main reason for it being in is we've got problems with the structure. It's a soft dash Range Rover. It's a 1990s Range Rover. It needs work. So what I'm planning on doing here, what the customers asked me to do, is to understand why water, when it's raining, drips off the brake pedal. It's not helpful, is it? So, yes. Right, so I'm really going to start. I'm going to start really with bonnet, wings, bumper, deck off, and see what we've got that's going on here. I don't need to video it. I've done it 1,000 times before. So I'm going to fast forward now to this car being stripped down. Oh, this is turning out to be fun. Okay, so passenger side, pretty much exactly the same as the 300 TDI that I've done, rotted in almost exactly the same places. Plenty of holes there for moisture to get in. Driver's side has been sponsored by, was it P40 glass fibre plastic padding? There you go. So, problem with putting this shit on bare steel or over rusted steel is it just traps the moisture in, makes the problem worse. So we've already dug out this lot here. Oh yes, there's lots of holes there into the footwell. We've dug out that. I've been clearing out the channel, found a nice welded repair, not too bad. I've seen a lot better, but I've seen a lot worse. And then I thought, well, what's that? Well, I dug a little bit further, and oh yeah, oh, that's the inside of the car. Oh, good. And you can see where all the metal's been bashed down, so they can put all the filler over the top of it. Fucking hell. Yes, it needs fixing. So realistically, I need to take this box off so I can make the repair properly. You can see it's all massively holed down here. It's probably 1,000,000 times worse than it would have been prior to all the filler being loaded in there, because of course it's then trapped the moisture, which has then allowed the rot to continue. So yeah, we're collecting up big lumps of filler and glass fibre. P38, P40, there you go, P40. I haven't found any newspaper yet though. No newspaper. Big lumps of filler. Yeah, I know we've done this as well. I know who done this. slide through here. What he wants to do, we'll see what's going on here. So we're down to the filler. Glass fibre, because I can't see any of the flange on this side of the bonnet hinge box. There it is. There's one. What's that? Oh, that's, yeah. Oh, there we go. Found the lip. I found a fucking skirt. Big lump of filler. Beautiful. Just fucking beautiful. There we go, that's that out. Okay, it's a damp, rusty seam underneath here. Damp. So is filler keeping the moisture out? I'm inclined to say, is it fuck? Okay, so I've more or less cleaned out the entire channel. This side, almost exactly the same size work required as I did on the 300 TDI. A lot less work down here though. Tidy it up, put it back together. This side, well, that welded repair went in under there, and you can see really it's more or less been welded onto the pedal box, which is pretty impressive, huh? And then I've got the remains here of the bulkhead. There's the brake lines going down there. You can see they've been painted. Remains of the pedal box, and of course that's the inside of the car. And all of those gaps were filled in with glass fibre. I guess it wouldn't have been that bad prior to the glass fibre being added, but it's what happens. Anyway, I'm going to get the dash out next. Right, I need to get the dash out. From what I've been able to see from the very limited instructions in the workshop manual, and by looking at various Disco 2 type forums, late Disco 1 forums, his centre console needs to come out. That's fairly straightforward. Lifts up and out. You need to disconnect the handbrake cable first so the handbrake goes vertically. And then it's a case of getting all of the switches out, the steering out, the instrument bezel out, the airbag off the passenger side, the glove box off the passenger side. There's a big cage underneath the airbag, which will need to come out. And then there's fixings around and about. So what I could do is I'm going to just gaze into that piece of sunlight. Oh, that's nice. Oh, yes. Bit of vitamin D. I'm going to, I can't see a thing, I'm going to proceed with getting it all apart, but I'll come back and let you know at key points during the disassembly how it all comes apart. Otherwise it's going to end up being hours of footage of me messing around. Right, handbrake cable is held onto the handbrake using this clevis pin and a fairly standard Land Rover U-clip. So what you end up doing is you lift up the outer edge there, pull it over the top of the post, and you can pull the clevis pin out. Now I can lift the handbrake up vertically. Okay, so now I should have the access I need in order to lift out this complete centre console box. And there she goes. How about that? Centre console is out. Yes, yes, yes. I can go in the back of the car. So let me see what I can get out easily. Battery is disconnected, folks. So fret not, rest thy sphincters. There's a clip there, and a clip there, and a clip there. No other easy way of getting it out though. It's amazing how little instructions they actually give you on how to get all these things out. It really is. Oh, that comes out nice and easy. Look at that. That comes out easy. Does this one going to come out just as easily? No, it's just allowing me to take individual switches out, which looks like it's coming out as well. Whole lot. There we are. And then the clock comes 8. Fucking thing. Right, and then we've got a cable, one clock. That's that out. And then we've got that switch which I can push out with a connector on the back. So that's the right way around to do things. Heater vents I think will probably stay in there. These need to come off. And these switches on the front here will need to come off. Now, how does all that come out? I'll come back to that in a moment. Let's see if we can't extract these switches. There we are. There we are. So these all just pull forwards. Now, looks like it's then just a connector onto the back of each one. Which one's which though? Blue, green. That's 5. Let's undo the other blue one. That's also 5. So how do you know which switch goes into which? Does that switch go onto there? Yeah, of course it fucking does. So we need to probably label these up so we know which switch goes to where. Right, so it looks like 2 T27 fixings on the back of the steering wheel. Yep. The boys got their radio on. I expect it's going to end up meaning I have to voice over this lot. I don't know if you can hear it. Right, now I'll pop that, because I might need. Oh, we can get to it. We can get to it. That's good. Good. Right, that goes in there. That then goes in there. Ah, doesn't even feel like it's tight. I don't think it is. It's a bit shit, wouldn't it? Airbag is off. 2 screws stay in the steering wheel. Airbag comes out. Connector should just pop off like that. Okay, 1 airbag. Store metal down. If you store it metal down and it goes off, it's not like you send a fucking great lump of metal flying up into the air. All right. Next, we need to get the steering wheel off. Which is going to be fun, because I kind of want to straighten it out first of all, because it's important that you don't bugger up the cartridge. So all I would suggest with the steering wheel, when you loosen the nut in the centre, get the steering wheel to come forwards. Once the steering wheel's come forward, then remove the nut. Don't take the nut off beforehand. Otherwise you'll end up putting a steering wheel into your face, and that's not fun, I can tell you. First-hand experience. Oh, fuck, I didn't video it. Right, okay, undid the nut a little bit, wiggle the steering wheel slightly, pull it towards you, comes off, undo nut. When you take the steering wheel off, you need to extract the wiring. It needs to come back through because it's associated with the cartridge. I can't remember exactly how this all comes together now, but leaving the steering wheel in place, take the two wires off, because there is a clip, there is a connector there, but sometimes I've not been able to get that connector undone up there, and I don't want to force it because I've got better things to do than rebuild steering wheel looms. Right, so that's off there. Big nut's off. Big nut. Steering wheel comes forwards. There's the cartridge behind. Feeding the wires through the steering wheel. Just this is where I didn't bother last time, you see. So I'm just working on, oh crikey, big truck. Just working on what I know works. With the steering column cartridge, it's important that this tape kind of like, it means lined up. So don't try and disassemble the cartridge. On the back here, it's got a couple of lugs which locate into the front of the column control. So it's important that when that is all lined up, it's in the straight ahead position. If you need to move it a click or two, you push the button underneath and you can rotate it. Okay? But it's important you keep it, baseline it, before you attempt to put the wheel back on, because that lug needs to be at the top, and you want the wheel straight ahead. So the wheel was straight when I took it off. There you go, there's that. Now, next, finish battling with that. Now I'm going to battle with the instrument console. So we have got here two screws at the top and then two little screws at the bottom for now. So that is loose and loose. That one down there, that looks to be a bastard to get to. Do I need to take this off first? I think I probably do actually. So then underneath here should have two fixings on the underside here. This had already been disassembled by the customer, so that's why that wasn't quite where it should be. I think he's been doing a fair amount of work on this thing, faffing around with it. Oops, there's that little screw. And this little screw here. Now, does this now all come? Yeah, this now all moves around, so I can access those two top screws there now. Is there another screw at the back here? Something holding it. I couldn't tell you what though, but what I can do now is I can access those two there. Pull this down. I can access that one. Right, now that should come out, and it does. Disconnect the instrument dimming control. Which is going to come off. There we are, it's off. And then what I'll do is I will pop the screws back in there, which come out of there, and lay it flat where it's not going to get disturbed. Hopefully get this off then. Does this want to come off? Is it just held on with clips? It looks like it's held on with clips on that side. Yeah, it is. Just clips. And then what's securing it underneath here? Tell you what, it's loose. then that comes down and pivots off there. That's great. They can go in there like that. Now, what have we got here now? So we've got the, because these need to come off and the column needs to drop down as well, but I also need to get the instrument pod out. Now, so we've got airbag warning, which is that, it's not airbag warning, airbag. Talk some shit sometimes, boy. Disconnect that, he's off, and disconnect this one, which is there. That can now come out of the way. Okay, intact. And then we've got, sorry if I'm shining your face, folks, I can't see otherwise. And then it looks like I've just got one big screw there. That's the self-cancel for the indicators. Looks like it's just one big screw here holds the column controls on. That comes off, quite a long machine screw. Does it want to come off? Nope. Is there anything else holding it on? We've got lots of plugs. I can't get to the plugs until it's moved forwards. Now that seems like it probably wants to come off, and it does. It's just a friction fit, there we go. And then the screws come flying off the back. Right, now it's come forwards. I can get these plugs out. Probably didn't need to undo that screw at the bottom. These plugs need to come out though. Oh, come on, you fucker. God, these have been in a while. There we go. Out you come. There's one. And another. And another. And another. Right, that's out. Now, what was that that flew off the back here? It was that. So it looks like that doesn't need to come right off. That is almost like a tensioning strap. So we'll pop that back in there, which goes that way round. Can't go any other way. I'll put the nut back in there. So I didn't need to loosen that screw right off. So I can go back in there, and that can go back in there, and that can go back in there, and that can go back on there. Don't need to take the ignition switch off. What I do need to do though, I think, is lower the steering column down. Right, okay, so that's that in its entirety. Nicely done. Right, now we've got that off, let's put that back on there again because I don't want to lose it. And that's all of the connections there for the column controls and the ignition switch. All disconnected. Oh no, ignition switch is here. What's that for then? That must be for the alarm. Anyway, it's all there. Whatever it is, it's there. And then I've got 4 screws around the bezel. Don't undo them all the way, just undo them about 1 inch. And then the bezel comes out. The instrument pod comes out as a unit. As soon as it is feeling like it's loose like that, 1, 2, top 2 are not even in. James, you are thinking about coming forwards and out. Right, that's done that. So now we've managed to get it hooked up on the door catch. Now I need to pull the connectors off the back. Right, and then that comes off. I don't know if you could see any of that. So in a similar fashion, I'm just taking the bracket off that sits between the A post and the underside of the dash. When you get down it, you'll see it. See it? It's as clear as daylight. That comes off, and then we end up with that bracket too. So that can all go there. Now, there must be some more bolts on this dash somewhere that are still holding it in place. I will come to that. Right, that's now a lot looser than it was. What I need to do next is I think I need to undo the bolts that are inside here that hold this plate in. They look to be 8mm. Again, you'll see them when you get down here. You don't need to me to show you. This cage should come out. Now, that chappie comes out of there. That's all plastic then. I doubt that's anything to do with the dash, but this looks like it was strapped onto the support for the steering column, so you do need to take this bit out. Right, to get the coin tray out, it's a coin tray, drinks holder out, undo the 4 screws in there, sorry, 3 screws in there, 3 screws in there, and the whole unit comes out. Ta-da! Then remove the 3 knobs, they're just pushed on. Behind it you'll find 2 screws, they come off. Then undo the 4 screws around the outside. Then you need to remove this entire centre dash section. So you can see it's largely loose. There's 2 screws right down at the bottom here. And I think the other 2 screws, there's 2 screws right at the top here. And then there's 2 screws behind this bar here, which I'm just going to work out how to get off. But I suspect it's just going to be clipped into place. So I can feel clips here. There's 1. 2, that should come out in a second. I'm going to do it two-handed rather than one-handed, but you're with me. So you can see 1 screw there, you can see 1 screw there, there's 1 screw there, 1 screw there, and there's another 2 up here you can see. And then this centre section should come out. Right, so this bastard here, it's got clips that go in the back at the top and then clips at the bottom. So what you need to do is more or less get in behind these 2 clips, pull it forwards, hinge it off the bottom edge, and then there's a connector. Fucking thing. Yes, that was fun. Right, now I can see these 2 screws here, which I'm going to undo. I've taken these 2 out up here, and then this whole centre section should come out. I'll get that screw out of there. They're not very magnetic, these screws. All my screwdrivers lost all its magnetism on account of the fact it's fucking freezing. Right, now it feels like there's another screw attached somewhere. There's a screw on that metal plate in there I need to get to by the looks of things. Okay, it's come out. What a bastard. Right, look on this side behind the clock, there's a screw. I saw that one when I took it out. What I didn't see was a screw on this side here, which is what was causing it to hang up. Okay, so I undid that screw. Perfect. It came out. So that's all out. What I did find was a big chunk of probably police wiring. It's been hacked off at each end. Multi-core cabling, probably for all of the police shites that would have been in here. Glues and sirens and radio and God knows what else would have been in this thing at the time. But anyway, that now is out, which is good, because now it means that all I've got to do is get the driver's side off. Now, I spoke to Paul at Atkinson's, who does like a soft dash, and what he did suggest to me is take these off. He said because they are, it is possible to damage them. So I'm going to pop those off. There's obviously a speaker halfway up there. All of this side now is loose. I'm not just taking this off to do the welding. I'm taking it off because the customer wanted me to change it over anyway because of this damage up here. Nothing particularly nasty about this. Glove box comes out, 4 screws under here, and then the glove box will come out. And then that gives you access to the screws on the underside to take the air bag out. Then you need to set the frame out that's behind the airbag as well, and then the brackets on there and here, and you should be then ready to remove the dash. Okey dokey, it is 6:20 and we're almost done. So airbag came out. There's 4 fixings, one there, one there, one there, and one there, and you access them underneath here. So you can see the 2 at the back there. The 2 at the front are right tucked up here, so they're a faff. Right, and then undo the 4 bolts up here, and you'll find that comes loose. Look at all the rust over there. Undo the 2 fixings under here and the 1 fixing under there. Find any zip ties that are holding loom and connecting onto the front of the dash, and then there we go. Dash is coming forward. So how about that? That's been a lot of bastard work there. Now, what I obviously need to be careful of here, and I might need to pop you onto the tripod, is to ensure that this lot here, oh look, there's a zip tie there holding that on, so I need to take that off. Cut that zip tie there, because that's obviously wants to stay in the car. So as you're pulling this out, you just want to be sure that stuff that needs to stay in the car stays in the car. So let's tripod you up. I've got 1 zip tie holds the loom there, 1 there. And I've got a couple of zip ties here. So obviously when you're putting it all back together again, you want to replace these zip ties just to ensure that the loom is good. Right, that's all clear. That's clear. Now there's a couple of zip ties up on the back of the instrument pod on this side. Oh, I found another pen and a pencil and a chopstick. Finding quite a lot of stuff today. Found a pen. I found another really nice pen actually. It's fucking disappeared though. There it is. Sparkly pen. How about that? James, I've got some pens for you. Halford's receipt, etc, etc, etc. Right, okay, coming around the driver's side. So in here, there are 2 loom connectors, that one and that one. And all I'm doing is cutting, clank, 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 cutting the zip tie that goes to those, and being careful. Come on, you fucker. Right, there's one. And there's the other. That's off. And we're going to pull this side of the dash forwards. Now we need to probably find there's more stuff zip tied on down here. Yes, there is. Looks like the LPG is zip tied on, and that then should all in theory go through that hole there, shouldn't it? I'd like to think. What have we got down here? What's stopping this? I'm stretching it against... Oh, hang on a second, there's a cable here. Cable, bracket's in the way. Gonna have to take that bracket off. Okay, and it looks like this bracket needs to come off as well, because the cable on this side. There's only 2 screws. That's easy enough. Screw. I'm going for a beer then. So you'd have to do all this if you wanted to access the heater. Oh joy! Fucking brilliant! Right, and then we've got 2 screws. That are here. That one comes off and out, because otherwise you'd have to disconnect all the cables in the heater, and I just can't be fucking arsed. I'd rather just undo 4 screws. So mark these up as left and right as well. That's right. And that was left. And now, is that going to come forwards now? Yes. Got a load of crap there. What's that zip tied on there? Right, there's a big zip tie up here. So that wants to get cut. Oh, this is fun, isn't it? So happy I could just shit. Oh. Freezing my lily white arse off. Extracting a dash. Right. Okay. Now, the loom actually looks like it goes over the top of this thing here. How does that? Do I have to pull the loom forwards? What I'm looking at in here, can you see? I don't know if you can see. Clank, 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 clank. It's come off the tripod. Right, in here, the loom goes around this chunk of metal here. Obviously the loom's down there now, so I just need to unloop that over the top of this metal bracket. I think everything else then is largely free. I can't see any other way that is going to come off. You can see the dash is ready to come out, really. There is nothing else holding it in apart from that loom going over that bracket there. So let me do that two-handed. I'll be back. Right, well, the bit of loom that goes around it is actually the radio cabling, and normally it would just have the Land Rover connector on the end of it, but someone's been in here with the chop blocks and done a fucking beautiful job of it. I'd like to think that none of that was live. What a fucking shambles. And then it kind of loops into this as well, so fuck knows what's going on. I'm going to have to disconnect it in order that I can reconnect it properly. So what I'm probably going to do is just chop these 2 wires here. Yeah, some weapons grade ham-fisted gibbon has been in here, I can tell you now. And not me. Purely because everything is just been kind of done and then just tangled up in a huge great mess. I don't think there is any other connector, so what I really want to do is to get this lot to go the other side of there, which I can't do because it goes onto this chunk of wire as well, which goes down there for some reason. Couldn't tell you why. Yeah, leave it with me. This is just ham-fisted gibbonry here, and I might see if I can't improve on this fucking shambles here. There you go. I missed the vinegar stroke. Sorry, folks. Once I got the radio loom unwrapped from the back of that bracket there, it pretty much came out. There was a couple of cables stuck up on the underside of there. There was a cable stuck up on the back of there. But other than that, it did all just come through. And now you can see what a soft dash Range Rover looks like without the dash. Now what's interesting here, I thought that bar went right the way across, but it doesn't, does it? I might need to do something with the heater felts and so forth. But it's all here. I'll sort the radio wiring out before it all goes back together. I really want to keep this lot intact and up here so I know where everything goes. So that was the wiring that went down there. That was the wiring that went to the back of the instruments. That was the wiring that went to the back of the dash. Right. That's it for me for now. I've had enough. That's how you get a soft dash out. Excessive. Right. I think. Got all these tickets up here. Let's see where we've been. Time of expiry. Don't know, did you give me a date? Oh, hang on a second, it's McDonald's vouchers. Let's just see if there's any Princess Diana memorabilia up here. Summerfield Margate, yeah, that'll be it. Silly arse. Asda, yep, definitely. KFC, get in there. 15th of March, Wednesday, 15th of March. Tunbridge Wells, Royal Victoria Place. Tell me what year that is it? March 0932. Another pen, another ticket. Someone like their KFC. This is all wet up here because it's been wet. Let's get this lot on the floor really rather than on the leather. Another pen. What else? There's another one there, no. No, Princess Di was here. Doesn't say on there. 28th of November. Another wet one. Probably need to get all this sound deadening out. Oh, there's another load over there. Look at that. You're very silly. End of this day, though. I'm quite pleased to have got that lot out. Now, there's a plastic straw. Oh my God, a dolphin just died. Halfords. Oh, there's a pencil up there, look. Will that come out? Probably. Another KFC. Yeah, we're going to have to do a bit of a hoover up in here, aren't we? And then I can really want to get this thing such that I can start welding up the bulkhead, and then once I've welded up the bulkhead, then the new dash can go back in. Well, I say the new dash, the other dash can go back in. But for now, I've had enough. Fanning around putting that back on, Richard. Let's do that instead of going home and having a beer, which my wife's going to moan like hell about. Drinking again? No, darling.